and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsaf Parekh and I'll take you through the top 50 stories of the day. Let's begin. Let's start with a big story coming from Pakistan. The country's former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been arrested. He was arrested right after he entered the Islamabad High Court for a hearing. The arrest has been made in the Qadir Trust case. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Party workers have alleged that the police entered the court and dragged Khan outside to arrest him. Russia held a grand military parade in Moscow to mark Victory Day. The day marks the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany. About 8,000 soldiers in more than 30 formations marched across Moscow's Red Square. Russia's President Vladimir Putin delivered a 10-minute speech. This year's parade has been scaled down and it took place amid tight security. Russia has once again stepped up shelling in the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut. This comes as the Wagner mercenary group's soldiers began to use more advanced equipment. Drone images show the scale of destruction in the city. Earlier, the Wagner Group's commander had said he would pull his troops out of Bakhmut if they weren't provided arms and ammunition. Russia has promised more weapons to continue the offensive in Bakhmut. Ukraine has said that Russia has effectively stopped the Black Sea grain deal by refusing to register incoming vessels. Ukraine mentioned that Russia's approach contradicts the terms of the current agreement. The Black Sea grain deal was brokered between Russia and Ukraine last year. It was done with the help of Turkey and the United Nations to ease the global food crisis. The current deal expires on May 18th and Moscow has threatened to quit the agreement. Turkey and the UN are now working to extend the deal. Canada has expelled a Toronto-based Chinese diplomat. This comes after an intelligence report accused him of trying to target a Canadian lawmaker. The lawmaker in question is critical of China's treatment of Uyghur Muslims in the Xinjiang region. Canada's foreign minister said, and I quote, "We won't tolerate any form of foreign interference." The expulsion has worsened the already strained ties between Canada and China. In a tit-for-tat move, China has expelled a Canadian diplomat in Shanghai. This is after China called Canada's actions unreasonable. Beijing refuted the accusation of interference. It added that Canada's move seriously violates international law and sabotages bilateral ties between the two countries. In the US, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed multiple bills. They aim to put restrictions on real estate purchased by Chinese nationals. He has also tightened access to China's short video sharing app TikTok. The measures are part of a wider legislation. It outlaws the storage of sensitive data on servers linked to Chinese President Xi Jinping's regime. Remember, DeSantis is touted as a potential candidate for the 2024 US presidential election. Israeli jets and helicopters struck multiple targets in Gaza overnight. Israel has described the attacks as an operation targeting kingpin terrorists. The country says that it targeted senior Palestinian commanders. Tensions escalated last week after the death of a Palestinian on hunger strike in Israeli custody. Meanwhile, Israel's Foreign Minister Eli Cohen met Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar in New Delhi. Cohen also attended an India-Israel Business Forum event earlier in the day. Cohen was supposed to visit India for 3 days. However, his visit has been cut short due to the escalation of tensions between Israel and Palestine. Violence in the Indian state of Manipur is escalating. India's top court underlined the need to provide basic amenities in relief camps. The state government says 60 people have been killed in the clashes that broke out on the 3rd of May. Tensions reportedly began over the demand of scheduled tribe status for the Meitei community. The community makes up 53% of Manipur's population. Sudan's special envoy met South Sudans President yesterday. The meeting was to try and bring about a lasting ceasefire in conflict-hit Sudan. This is to grant safe passage of humanitarian support and provide an escape corridor for civilians. While speaking to journalists, the envoy said that the Sudanese army is in full control of the country. Sudan's two warring sides also recently met in Saudi Arabia's Jeddah. However, there has been no word on progress. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets in Serbia's capital, Belgrade. They carried banners which read, "Serbia against violence." This comes after two mass shootings shocked the country last week. Demonstrators demanded better security, a ban on violent television content, and the resignation of key ministers. They also called for an emergency parliamentary session and a debate on the country's ongoing security situation. Hundreds of migrants have been stranded for days at the US-Mexico border. Many of them reached out through the border fence asking for food from volunteers. The Biden administration is bracing for a possible increase in illegal migration. This comes as COVID-19 entry restrictions under Title 42 are coming to an end. Hundreds of investigative agents and air marshals are being pulled in to help manage the border. A man in the US state of Texas has been charged with 8 counts of manslaughter. This comes after he mowed down a group of pedestrians near a homeless shelter. At least 7 people were killed. The driver ran a red light, lost control of his vehicle, and hit 18 people. Police say the man was also charged with 10 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The accused has an extensive criminal history. Scuffles broke out at a polling station for Turkey's overseas voters in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Dutch police tried to take control of the situation. Some 300 people were involved in the incident. Voting in Turkey will begin on May 14th. Polls predict that the votes of more than 3 million eligible Turkish voters living abroad may prove crucial. Indonesia is gearing up for the Asean summit. It has beefed up security ahead of the event. Asean leaders are scheduled to arrive today. Indonesian President Joko Widodo is set to open the meeting on Wednesday. The 10-member regional bloc has been trying to push for a peace consensus in Myanmar. Parts of Bolivia are witnessing fierce cold conditions. Heavy hail has wreaked havoc on the streets. The wet weather is expected to continue through June. Temperatures have dipped to below 0 degrees Celsius in areas including El Alto, Potosi, and Oruro. Authorities have issued an orange alert in some regions. This is due to expected flooding from overflowing rivers. Parts of New Zealand are facing flash floods and landslides. This comes after heavy rains and thunderstorms in certain regions. Auckland's roads and gardens have been flooded. Schools have been evacuated and residents have been asked to prepare to leave. A local state of emergency has also been declared. The Democratic Republic of Congo is dealing with the aftermath of devastating floods. Dead bodies are still being recovered. More than 400 people were killed last week. Over 8,000 people have been impacted. This is one of the country's deadliest disasters in recent history. Canada's oil and gas producers have shut down some production. This comes as the province of Alberta is witnessing unprecedented wildfires. Alberta is the country's main oil-producing province. It declared an emergency due to the wildfires. Rain and cooler weather is expected to bring some respite soon. Standard Chartered's CEO Bill Winters has said that a big recession in the US is unlikely. However, he sees the possibility of a period of negative growth. Speaking about the banking crisis, Winters added that it could have been handled better. He said that it would have been ideal to provide liquidity to the challenged banks ahead of time. Goldman Sachs will pay $215 million to settle a long-standing lawsuit. The lawsuit accuses the company of widespread bias against women. The investment bank has been accused of paying its women employees less than their male counterparts. The company also allegedly gave women weaker performance reviews. As per reports, this is one of the highest profile cases targeting gender discrimination within companies. Zoltan Pozsur, a widely followed Credit Suisse economist, has left the bank. He joined Credit Suisse in 2015. Before joining Credit Suisse, Pozsur had worked at the New York Federal Reserve and the US Treasury. His exit comes amid an exodus of staff that began months before UBS's takeover of Credit Suisse. Volkswagen has hired Bentley's production chief, Peter Bosch. He will lead Volkswagen's software subsidiary, Cariad. Bosch will take over from June 1st. This comes after Volkswagen dismissed all but one of its executives from its software division. This was done to solve the unit's developmental problems. As per reports, the unit exceeded its budget and failed to meet its goals. A US-based telecom company has sued Huawei for wrongful market domination. It has accused Huawei of conspiring with the Chinese government to dominate the telecom equipment market. The lawsuit alleges that Huawei refuses to license its patents on fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory terms. As per reports, the US telecom company wanted to license Huawei patents. However, it has accused Huawei of asking it to pay grossly excessive royalties. The European nation Liechtenstein is planning to allow Bitcoin payments for certain state services. Liechtenstein's Prime Minister Daniel Riesch said in an interview, and I quote, "A payment option with Bitcoin is coming. Under the plans, any crypto received will immediately be exchanged for Swiss francs." However, he did not specify a timeline for adding the payment option. A group of firms, including Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, and Deloitte, are planning to launch a new blockchain-based system. This will help them link up various institutional applications. The system will reportedly offer better privacy and controls than existing technology. The firms will begin testing some of its features in July. Microsoft-owned LinkedIn has said that it will slash more than 700 jobs. The company says it's looking to cut costs amid a weak economic outlook. It'll also reportedly shut down its China-focused job app called In Careers. In 2021, LinkedIn decided to withdraw its services from China due to a challenging business environment. This decision had come after authorities tightened control over the internet sector. The In Careers app will be phased out by August 9th. Social media platform Twitter will reportedly remove inactive accounts. Owner Elon Musk says the company will remove accounts that have been inactive for several years. He added that these accounts will be archived. Musk says that the removals are important to free up abandoned handles. However, he gave no details about when the process will begin. Google signs a $100 million deal with the New York Times. The payment will be made over 3 years. This comes as a part of a broader agreement where Google will feature Times content on its platform. The deal includes NYT's participation in Google News Showcase. Google News Showcase is a product that pays publishers to feature their content on Google News and other Google platforms. Moving on to sports. In cricket, Sri Lanka is likely to host the upcoming Asia Cup. This is because the tournament is set to move away from Pakistan. The decision to shift the tournament was made after the Indian team refused to play in Pakistan. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan have endorsed the move to host the cup in the island nation. However, a final decision on the venue is expected by the end of May. Ishan Kishan has replaced KL Rahul in the Indian squad for the finals of the upcoming World Test Championship. KL Rahul has been ruled out of the squad after suffering a thigh injury. Kishan is uncapped in Test cricket and will represent India in all whites for the first time. India will play the World Test Championship final against Australia at the Oval in June. England's fast bowler Jofra Archer has been ruled out for the remainder of this year's IPL. The 28-year-old played only 5 out of 10 matches for his IPL team, Mumbai Indians. Archer's decision to pull out of the IPL comes after suffering from a nagging elbow injury. Earlier, Archer had spent 17 months on the sidelines following elbow and back injuries. Archer is unlikely to play for England in the upcoming Ashes series in June. In football, early reports suggest that Lionel Messi has rejected a potential return to FC Barcelona. Instead, Messi has hinted at accepting Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal's offer. According to reports, Messi has requested $662 million a year if Al Hilal signs him. The Argentine World Cup winner is set to become a free agent on June 30th. In the Premier League, Everton produced a masterclass in counter-attack football with a 5-1 win over Brighton. Everton's Abdoulaye Doucouré scored twice in the first half of the match. Brighton goalkeeper Jason Steele scored an own goal to add to their woes. Everton's Dwight McNeil then added 2 more goals as they outclassed the hosts. With the win, Everton have climbed out of the relegation zone. In basketball, Los Angeles Lakers and Miami Heat are 1 game away from advancing to the conference finals. The Lakers lead Golden State Warriors 3-1 in the series. Lakers are 1 win away from securing a spot in the Western Conference Finals. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, Miami Heat lead the New York Knicks 3-1 in the series. The Heat are 1 win away from their 3rd Eastern Conference Finals in 4 seasons. In athletics, Hashem Siami, the head of Iran's Athletics Federation, resigned over a sporting event. Siami faced backlash after women athletes ran a marathon without donning the hijab. In addition to Siami's resignation, organizers of the event have been summoned by the police regarding the hijab controversy. In boxing, India's Sachin Siwach advanced to the pre-quarters in the World Championships. Siwach beat Moldova's Sergei Novak 5-0 in the 54 kg bantamweight category. The Indian boxer landed a combination of punches to make a good impression on the judges. Using his height advantage, Siwach managed to win all 3 rounds with ease. The 2023 Judo World Championships are being held in Qatar's capital city, Doha. Japan holds a commanding lead in the tournament with 3 golds, 1 silver and 1 bronze. Siblings Abe Hufumi and Abe Uta secured 2 golds for Japan. Meanwhile, Spain trails Japan in the medal tally with 1 gold medal. Swimmers from around the world participated in the open water race in Bolivia. Athletes swam 7.5 kilometers in Bolivia's famous Titicaca Lake. Swimmers battled freezing temperatures and a lack of oxygen due to the high altitude. Lake Titicaca sits 3,800 meters above sea level and is considered the world's highest navigable lake. In entertainment now, the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid has had its world premiere in Hollywood on Monday amid the ongoing Hollywood writers' strike. The highly anticipated movie stars Halle Bailey as the title character Ariel. Prior to the release of The Little Mermaid, Disney also unveiled its footage in last month's CinemaCon in Las Vegas. The first reactions of The Little Mermaid generally praised Halle Bailey's role as Ariel. The famed Game of Thrones franchise has become the latest victim of the ongoing Hollywood writers' strike. The writing of an upcoming franchise prequel has been halted because of the strike. The Writers Guild of America went on strike on May 2nd. This was after failing to reach a new labor agreement with higher pay from Hollywood studios. The stage is set for the release of Christopher Nolan's biographical film Oppenheimer. The anticipated movie is based on the life of physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, who is credited with inventing the atomic bomb. The film's star cast comprises Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., and many others who play characters based on real-life people. Oppenheimer will hit theaters worldwide on July 21st. Japanese gaming giant Capcom has announced a new open beta weekend for its anticipated upcoming fighting game, Street Fighter VI. The open beta for Street Fighter VI will be available on all consoles and PC. It's set to feature 8 playable characters. The Battle Hub will also be available in the open beta. Street Fighter VI launches on June 2nd for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the PC. English singer Charli XCX will make her movie debut in an upcoming horror film. The singer has been cast in a remake of the 1978 classic Faces of Death. The new project will see Charli work alongside Stranger Things stars Barbara Ferreira and Dacre Montgomery. The film is currently in production in New Orleans with Legendary Pictures. It'll be directed by Daniel Goldhaber. Canadian pop-punk band Sum 41 is calling it quits. The band took to social media to announce that they'll split up following the release of their final album and farewell world tour. Sum 41 has spent 27 years on the music scene and has sold more than 15 million records worldwide. Details of the album release and farewell tour have yet to be announced. K-pop boy band 17 has received several accolades for their 10th mini-album titled FML. The band has officially sold more than 3 million copies on the first day of the album's release. That's not all. The band's album FML has also ranked first on Billboard Japan Artist 100, downloaded album, hot album, top album sales, and more. Comedian Hannah Gadsby's Love Letter Netflix special has been released. The hour-long stand-up special explores marriage, sudden fame, parenting styles, cultural differences, and life with autism. It was recorded at Australia's Sydney Opera House. Gadsby called the special a love letter to their wife Jenny Shamash, an American producer. K-pop boy band Omega X has officially ended their exclusive contracts with Spire Entertainment. The news comes after months of dispute over allegations that the agency's former CEO verbally abused and mistreated members of the group. The 11-member group made the announcement via a post on their official Instagram account. Omega X's legal counsel had shared their intention to press charges against the former CEO of Spire Entertainment back in October 2022. Amazon Prime Video will premiere Air, a biographical sports drama film directed by Ben Affleck, on the 12th of May. The movie stars Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman, Marlon Wayans, Chris Messina, Chris Tucker, and Viola Davis. The movie is centered around the partnership between then-rookie Michael Jordan and Nike's failing basketball division. It also revolves around the dramatic origins of the iconic Air Jordan basketball shoe. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Fast and Factual. We'll be back again tomorrow. Stay tuned to First Post.